Hi guys, and welcome to my final bump date video. I'm now 38 weeks pregnant, so there's only 2 weeks to go until my due date, and I know that I'm not going to run over, which I'll explain a bit more in the video. So it's really exciting that this is the final video. It's so hard to believe. It seems like yesterday that I was making the announcement on here, and here we are. So it's just incredible that we've already reached this stage. Whenever I first started making these videos, it seemed like a lifetime away, so I'm really excited. Basically, I just wanted to do a bit of an update on what's been happening since 34 weeks, because obviously my last video, things were a bit up in the air. Baby was breech at my 34 week scan, and I was quite disappointed at that stage. I was struggling a little bit with coming to terms with the fact that I might have to have a C-section, so I had said I would update you guys after my 37 week appointment. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know this, but my scan last week at 37 weeks showed that baby is still very much in the breech position. It hasn't moved really at all. The head is still jammed right up in my ribs, and baby doesn't seem to be showing any signs of wanting to turn. For the last 3 weeks between the appointments, I honestly tried every natural technique that I could have heard of to turn the baby. I googled every possible technique for turning a breech. I've been on Spinning Baby's website. I've spent more time than I would like to say hanging upside down. I've laid backwards off my ironing board off the sofa. I've swam I don't know how many lengths. I've done handstands in the pool. I've tried peppermint oil on the bump. I've tried putting frozen peas on the bump. I have tried literally, if there's a technique you've heard of to turn a breech baby, I have tried it, except for the chiropractor. The reason I didn't try that is because I just felt, I don't know, I'm just a big believer in what's meant to be will be, and I just thought, well, I don't want to put money into having a chiropractor or things like that if this baby's just not meant to turn. I think the money can go to better use than that, so I just really felt that nothing I was trying was working at all. So obviously God knows best, and I just feel that this baby's just meant to be breech. I don't know why. I might never know why, but I just have to trust that this is just the way it's meant to be. So basically, I went to my appointment last week. I was feeling a lot more calm this time, because I knew by the kicks and by the position and by the rib pain that baby was breech. I would have been extremely shocked if the doctor told me that it was head down, so I wasn't surprised or shocked whenever he said it was breech. So that helped, because it wasn't the way it was at 34 weeks where I kind of had thought it was head down and then was really disappointed. So I didn't get as upset this time. I basically went into that appointment thinking, well, if the baby's breech, then I'm just going to accept that and make this the most positive experience that it can be. Obviously, I really didn't want to have a C-section. There's a lot of reasons for that. I just, part of it is that I just wanted to experience labour and delivery and a natural birth. It's just something that I kind of feel, you know, you think about your, I don't know, if you're a girl, you know, you dream about your wedding day and you think about having children someday, and it's an experience that I would have really liked to have, but it's just not meant to be on this occasion. That's not to say that, you know, if I have more children in the future that I can't experience that, but I just kind of prayed and thought about it, and, you know, I realised that I'm in a really fortunate position to even be able to experience pregnancy. There's so many women who never get that experience and want it so badly, so I'm privileged to even have that. And, you know, I spent a few weeks almost like feeling the loss and grieving a bit about losing out on that experience of birth on this occasion with this baby, but then I tried to focus on the positives and sort of prepare myself for a C-section delivery and work through some of those negative feelings I had, because I suppose some of the negativity in my mind was coming from the fact that, you know, there's a lot out there that people say that a C-section isn't like real birth, and I felt as if I'd be robbed of kind of this feeling of giving birth to my baby. I felt like it would just be a surgical procedure and I wouldn't sort of be part of it nearly. But I've done loads of research and I read loads of birth stories about C-section birth, and I've realised that, you know, it still is birth and it can still be a beautiful moment and something totally amazing to share with, you know, my child and my husband as well. So I'm feeling a lot more positive. It's still not what I would have chosen, but I'm grateful that it's a choice that I have, because years ago, who knows what could have happened. It could have been a lot more dangerous, and I know there are people out there who deliver breech babies naturally, but that's just not something that I personally wanted to consider when I read the risks. I'm not judging anyone who does that, but just based on my own situation, the size of my baby, the fact it's my first baby, I've never delivered a baby before, and also because I know that, you know, it's not done that often, and although it can be done, I just wouldn't feel as confident that the doctors would be, not good, but like that the doctors would be capable of delivering the baby safely, and I need to feel confident in the professionals in order for me to feel confident. So I just weighed up the options and felt that cesarean was the safest option for the baby, and I'm willing to give up that experience of natural birth to ensure that the baby gets here as safely as possible. Obviously I'm still concerned about the risks of a C-section, and you know, I'm disappointed because I know that, you know, babies that are born by C-section can be more prone to health problems and things like that, but hopefully not, and hopefully we can make it as gentle a birth as possible. I've written a birth plan and everything, so, and I've really stated that I still want to have skin to skin contact with the baby straight away, if possible, if everything's alright. And you know, it's important to me that we have that bonding opportunity even in theatre, or if not in theatre, then in recovery straight after. So that was my main concerns, just that about the impact on the baby and also the impact on breastfeeding and stuff as well, because I suppose, you know, when you're going into labour, that hormonal process is starting, whereas I feel like I'm kind of going to miss that with an elective C-section. So I'm a bit anxious about that, but I've talked to a few people about it and heard loads of success stories, so I'm just going to try and go for it and be positive. And I've looked at all the good aspects of what's involved in a C-section and trying to overcome those fears, and I'm still doing my hypnobirthing. Hypnobirthing still fits well with a C-section because the course that I've done actually has a C-section specific meditation section, so I've been really benefiting from that. And I think the breathing techniques will really help me because I am really anxious about the thought of the spinal and also just the surgery in general. I've never had surgery, so it's quite scary, and I'm glad that I'll have those breathing techniques to use during it so that I don't panic. So yeah, it's pretty daunting knowing that in a couple of weeks I'm going to be having such a major surgery, but it's also really exciting because now we know the date, which is the longest that we have to wait to see the baby, so that's really a positive thing about having the C-section. The only thing would be on the day, if we went in and the baby had turned, they would send me home again, and they would let me attempt a natural delivery then with induction, but I think that's highly unlikely. This baby just feels like it has no room whatsoever, and it has been in this position for so long, like I just can't imagine it turning. And my husband was born breech as well, so I don't know if it runs in families or whatever, but I just think it seems very unlikely that it'll turn. So I'm gearing myself up for the C-section. I'm just being positive. I'm quite excited now. I'm not telling anyone the date because I still want it to be a surprise, but I won't go any further than my due date basically. So you guys know that baby will be here within the next 2 weeks basically. Well, not 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. And my due date is 2 weeks from this Friday. So that's really exciting. We're pretty much ready for the baby to get here. We have everything. We've got our pram, we've got our car seat. everything's good to go, so it's just a case of waiting now. I have been struggling a little bit with my symptoms past kind of week and a bit. I've been very sore. The rib pain is just unbelievable. It's because the head is up, it's just, my ribs are just constantly stretched. So I would get pain in between my ribs, like a sharp pain, and then just sort of, it honestly just feels like bruising all along the top. And the legs, the way the baby's lying is the head is up and then the bum is down at the bottom and the legs are then up by the face, so like a V. So the head digs in on the left and the feet dig in on the right hand side, so it is pretty uncomfortable. And there's days, some days it's not so bad, but there's days where it is just agony and I'm just not fit to do anything, so I feel kind of lazy at the minute because there's days where I'm just doing nothing. But that's just kind of what I have to do for now. Sitting up can be really uncomfortable just because everything's so squished, so I just have to do what I need to do at the minute. I'm going down and visiting Murphy every so often, so it's good to see him. He's loving life in the field. If you guys follow me on Instagram, there's photos and videos of him on there if you want to go and see how he's doing. So he's perfectly happy, doing great in the field. Obviously after the C-section, it'll be a bit of a longer recovery probably than if I had had a natural delivery, so I'm not sure what will happen about riding, but I would say it'll be at least 6 weeks because you can't drive for 6 weeks after a C-section, so I can't imagine that I will want to ride any sooner than that, if even that soon. So we just have to play it by ear and see what happens, just take it a day at a time. But hopefully in the not too distant future I'll be back on board and back at it again. So that is pretty much it for this update. That's the final one. The next time that I upload a video, it should be introducing you to our baby, so that is super exciting. We can't wait for you guys to be part of it. So I'll just finish by showing you the bump again, and that's it. See you next time. Bye.